In the ongoing storm of American politics, there are moments that feel like a reflection of the nation's soul, raw, uncomfortable, and unfiltered. One such moment unfolded during a nationally televised political panel where two rising stars from opposing ideologies clashed not just on policy, but on identity, dignity, and respect. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a bold, articulate, and unapologetically black leader from Texas, found herself the target of a racially loaded remark from conservative figure Karoline Leavitt. The words, "Go back to Africa," have long haunted the Black American experience rooted in colonialist rhetoric and white supremacy, and their alleged use in this setting shook millions of viewers. What followed, however, wasn't silence. It wasn't rage. It was Crockett's composed, cutting, and brilliantly delivered response that turned the moment from insult to inspiration. Jasmine Crockett's poise under pressure reminded the nation why representation matters. Why having a seat at the table, especially for Black women, is not just symbolic, but essential. Born and raised in the South, Crockett's rise to political prominence was never handed to her. It was earned through hard work, grassroots activism, and a legal career dedicated to defending civil rights. She knows the law, she knows history, and most of all, she knows how to use both to challenge injustice when it stares her in the face. Her response to Leavitt didn't just go viral, it became a teaching moment in race, politics, and resilience. Karoline Leavitt, on the other hand, is no stranger to controversy. As a former Trump White House staffer and a darling of conservative media, she's built her platform on anti-woke rhetoric and nationalist messaging. Her youth, sharp tongue, and combative style have made her a star in far-right circles. But in this instance, her alleged comment crossed a line many believe should have never been approached, let alone crossed. The phrase, "go back to Africa," is not a slip of the tongue. It's a deep-cutting racial attack historically used to marginalize Black Americans and question their place in a country they helped build. Whether Leavitt uttered it in the heat of debate or as a calculated jab, the damage was instant and for many irreparable. To understand the gravity of what occurred, we have to travel back in time. The phrase, "go back to Africa," has roots in white supremacist ideology dating back to the 18th and 19th centuries. During and after slavery, many white Americans saw Black people as outsiders even if they were born in the U.S. This mindset birthed movements like colonization, where free Black Americans were encouraged or forced to return to Africa, despite having no ancestral connection beyond generations past. It was a way to erase them, to exclude them, and to deny them citizenship in the nation their ancestors' labor built. So when that phrase is used in today's political environment, it's not a simple insult. It's a deeply traumatic trigger that speaks volumes about the speaker's mindset. Crockett's response, therefore, wasn't just personal, it was generational. With the eyes of the nation on her, she calmly reminded the audience of her heritage, not as an outsider, but as someone whose people were forcibly brought here, enslaved, exploited, and still managed to survive. She didn't lash out. She educated. She lifted the conversation from a racist jab to a moral reckoning. She made it clear that her presence in Congress wasn't a favor, it was a right. And no one, not even a loud conservative commentator, could erase that. In her words, Crockett said, "We're not going anywhere. My ancestors built this country, and I'm here to claim the space they were denied." That moment became iconic. The answer, as always, lies in power. Black women like Jasmine Crockett represent a shift in the power structure, one that makes many uncomfortable. They are educated, vocal, and unwilling to shrink in the face of intimidation. They are not afraid to call out injustice, even if it makes people squirm. And perhaps most threatening of all, they are right. Crockett didn't just defend herself. She exposed the double standards, the hypocrisy, and the thinly veiled racism that still plague American politics. She made people uncomfortable for the right reasons. Let's not forget the historical line of black women in politics who have endured similar treatment. Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman elected to Congress, was constantly called angry. Maxine Waters has faced decades of misogynoir. Kamala Harris, even as vice president, has been scrutinized more for her tone than her policy. And now Jasmine Crockett adds her name to the list not as a victim, but as a fighter who refuses to back down. Her confrontation with Leavitt wasn't just a clash of words, it was a clash of America's two futures. One clinging to exclusion, and the other fighting for inclusion. As the days passed, the debate evolved. Should Leavitt face censure? Was an apology enough? Would this be forgotten in a week like so many political controversies? But for many, this moment wasn't fleeting. It became a turning point in how we discuss race in politics. Not just about who says what, but about how we respond. Crockett's viral moment became a lesson in strength, dignity, and the power of staying calm when the world expects you to break down. Jasmine Crockett's words continue to echo because they weren't just sound bites. They were truth bombs. In a country that too often tells black people to get over it, she reminded America that racism isn't in the past. It's still alive, still tolerated, and still hurting people. Her response didn't just shame her attacker, it uplifted a generation watching closely, wondering how to respond when faced with hate. She showed them how. For creators, educators, and activists, this moment is a reminder of the power of platform. When used responsibly, a single voice can counter centuries of oppression. Crockett used hers not to attack, but to elevate. She turned a moment of pain into a moment of pride. She transformed an insult into a call to action. And that is the mark of true leadership.